So let's talk about equity. As I mentioned before, if diversity creates conflict, at least in its initial implementation, and inclusion creates cooperation, then equity is the bridge between the two. So what do we mean by equity? Well, we essentially mean fairness. Fairness in the workplace, fairness in the treatment of employees in the workplace, no matter what that employee looks like, no matter what that employee believes. So equity is essential to laying the groundwork for this bridge between these two concepts of diversity and inclusion. So when we think about equity, what we're really talking about is creating a workplace environment that is not only diverse, but it's fair. And this fairness will ultimately make this new diverse employee base feel as if they're included in the overall mission of the company itself. What does this fairness look like? Well, one place that we always have to start with in the workplace is equity in pay. We know that women and people of color are paid less than white men for doing the same job. I believe the last figures I saw on equity in pay in reference to men and women in the workplace was women were making about 78 cents to every dollar a man makes for doing the same position. And that only goes down when we're talking about people of color. So pay is one place that we need to find equity. But we also need to find equity in reference to advancement. So we know that certain populations within the workforce tend to get advanced to higher level positions at a greater rate and number than other populations. The population that tends to get moved up to management are white males. I'm not saying that things have not moved forward in reference to career advancement, but the senior level positions, at least at this time, tend to be occupied by white males. And when you're creating a diverse workplace that is based on the concept of equity and the idea that if you put in the work, you'll get advanced eventually when positions open, then not advancing people of color and women who are working equally hard, if not harder than the traditional white males, then you're going to create some problems. You're going to create conflict within your space, and those that are sitting in that space aren't going to feel as if they're being treated fairly. And then one more place that we really need to take note of in reference to equity in the workplace is security. The last couple of years, we've seen the rise of the Me Too movement. And what the Me Too movement is saying is that women do not feel safe in their workspaces and haven't felt safe in their workspaces for a long time, and they haven't had the opportunity nor felt that their voice would be heard within their organizational spaces when they are being treated unfairly. This can be in relationship to sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and God forbid, rape within the workspace. And if companies cannot create a secure and safe space for employees to conduct the business of the company's mission, then equity is going to be sacrificed because of that. So the three places that companies really need to focus on: pay, advancement, and security, are essential to creating an equitable, fair workspace, which ultimately leads to an inclusive workspace, which is really where corporations and companies want to go.